Okay, let's unpack this deep dive. You've brought us some really interesting source material today.
Yeah, it's from the Walter R. official YouTube channel, and it puts forward a radically different take on Eevee.
Right. Forget everything you thought you knew. This isn't the cute, cuddly, normal type we usually see.
Not at all. What's fascinating, or maybe disturbing, is how these sources claim to show its true reality.
Which is? What's the picture they paint?
They present Eevee as a dark fighting type, sort of an anti-hero,
Okay.
a tactical genius apparently capable of apocalyptic levels of destruction. We're talking millions of casualties mentioned in this source.
Wow. Okay, so our mission here is to explore the details presented in these sources. Why is this Eevee supposedly so feared? What's its true nature, according to this channel?
Let's jump in. So first off, the source claims this Eevee isn't naturally cute. It was supposedly engineered
Engineered for what?
as a cure, believe it or not, for some human illness. And it actively rejects cute Pokemon moves.
Rejects them.
Yeah, it views the whole expectation of cuteness as, and this is the term the source uses, Pokemon racist.
Pokemon racism. That's a
Yes.
strong term. So it's about misrepresenting its true nature.
Exactly, forcing it into a box it doesn't fit. This Eevee is defined in the source as 100% male, cannot breed or evolve traditionally, prefers being alone.
And the voice. Didn't the source mention something specific?
It did, described as sounding like Shadow the Hedgehog. Deep, maybe a bit edgy.
Okay, so a complete departure from the start. Let's talk power. You mentioned apocalyptic scale. What does that actually mean in this context?
Well, the source talks about attacks causing instant death. It even tries to quantify it, saying its force is up to 90 times greater than a Gigantamax Centiskorch.
90 times. That's astronomical.
It gives you a sense of the extreme power level being described. And this Eevee is blamed for massive environmental disasters, millions of deaths.
Like what specifically? Does the source give examples?
Oh yeah. It mentions a significant role in the Hoopa War, and specifically names legendaries and mythicals it supposedly killed. Kyogre, Celebi, Victini, Meloetta, even a female Rayquaza.
That's an incredible kill list. If true, according to the source, surely that kind of power has ripple effects, psychologically.
Definitely. The source really emphasizes widespread fear, anxiety, nightmares, especially hitting children and the elderly hard.
Nightmares, just from its presence.
Apparently. It can even cause physical reactions, like vomiting. The source actually links this to increased mortality rates in areas it affects. It's pretty grim stuff.
Graham is right. And therapists.
Therapists, particularly mentioned in the Kalos region context, supposedly avoid dealing with cases involving it. Too complex, maybe too resistant to help.
Okay, that's chilling. So, immense power, psychological terror. Does the source mention specific acts of cruelty too, beyond just large-scale destruction?
Yes, it highlights what seems like deliberate targeted cruelty, almost strategic, like targeting specific Pokemon lines. The Piplup line, for instance, pushed towards near extinction because this Eevee apparently calls them redundant mascots.
Redundant mascots.
Or clutter to cut.
Yeah.
It also supposedly taunts others, telling Meganiums they smell like stinky toilet, or Lopunny they're uglier than an ogre.
That's just mean-spirited. And then there's the thing about unborn Pokemon.
Yeah, this is maybe the most disturbing part in the source material. It details specific instances, like vaporizing a Togepi fetus on St. Patrick's Day,
Oh my god.
or crushing Froakie eggs on Valentine's Day. Also Magby on July 4th, Happiny on Halloween, Noibat on New Year's Eve, even something on April Fool's Day. It seems designed by the source creator to just maximize the shot value, framing it as utterly depraved.
Definitely paints a dark picture. But weirdly, the source also gives it quirks. Likes and dislikes that seem almost mundane in comparison.
It's a strange mix, isn't it? It
Yeah.
apparently hates sunlight, hates tea parties, especially British ones, finds jokes irritating. And get this, purified water is supposedly poisonous to it. Nearly died from it once, the source claims.
Purified water is poisonous. That's unexpected. What about food? Any weird preferences there?
Yeah, supposedly hates McDonald's, says it costs your dignity, wants McDonald land forgotten.
Yeah.
But it loves straight black coffee, like just the beans sometimes.
Coffee beans.
And Wensleydale cheese, but enjoys it privately. Prefers Wendy's over McDonald's. Also eats insects, slugs, earthworms, mice. And its favorite food is supposedly garlic.
Garlic. Okay. So a garlic-loving, coffee-drinking, purified water-hating, incredibly cruel, apocalyptic Eevee. It's a lot.
And a tactical genius, remember. The source mentions manipulating time and space. Yeah, teleport, Shadow Force.
And limiter rings. Like Shadow.
Exactly. Uses them to hold back its power, removes them for the full devastating effect. This apparently lets it bypass competitive bans.
So it just shows up and dominates, breaking the rules.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Unfair, hard to penalize according to the source. It also mentions allies like Darkrai and Magneton, and enemies Tyrantrum, Blazikens it calls Blazikants, Braixen or the Orphan Weakling, the Quaxley line.
Quite the network. And the source connects this to a bigger theme.
Yeah, allegorically.
Yeah.
It positions this Eevee as essentially the embodiment of Satan,
Seriously.
contrasted directly with Pikachu, who is presented within this narrative as a sort of Jesus figure.
Wow. Okay, so summing up this source's perspective, this reimagined Eevee is this complex, vengeful, terrifying force, absolutely not the mascot we know.
Not even close. It's a complete inversion.
So for you listening, what does exploring a source like this mean? What does it tell us when an icon like Eevee gets flipped so dramatically in a narrative?
Does this darker, maybe more challenging version resonate with you in ways the original doesn't? Or does it just feel like a total distortion?
Something to think about.